Hey man, first of all, I'd just like to thank you for asking me to review your games. I appreciate when people really want to improve, right? And of course, I'm doing this for free. So to get things started first, I do hope that in the future reviews, if you want some, you send me games where you lose or games where you felt like you had a hard time. Normally, these the games where you win, you can learn a lot from them, and you will learn a lot from this review, as you do make a lot of mistakes that, well, particularly a set of few mistakes that higher elo players can, counter. But it will be more clear to you about how these things or how these mistakes can end up being punished more. Because I'm guessing that your opponent here is either the same rank as you or like low plat, if not low plat, high gold. So he isn't fully punishing a lot of your mistakes yet, right? And he's making a lot of mistakes as well. Okay. So, before we get into what I think you could improve on, there's actually one thing I'd like you to know is that you are actually very, very aggressive, right? Also, the tips I give you, do remember that these general tips and rule of thumbs only really work in plat until diamond, right? Because diamond and over, so I'd say around 2200 elo over, people are going to learn how to counter these general concepts, right? So let me just double check if I'm still recording. Right, okay. Yeah. So they're going to learn how to counter these, right? But for now, learn the general concept and then learn how to do mix-ups with them, right? Because a lot of the games that you'll play in your elo until you hit diamond, if you just play fundamentals properly, you will win, right? Not too many mix-ups. All right, anyways, going back to what I was saying, the thing I really like about your, at least this VOD, is that you're playing really aggressive, right? The weakness of Qatar's, right? You know, Caspian being a Qatar's Gauntlets champion or legend, right? He's very close range. His range only goes to around maybe like this far, right? Let's just play the replay and show it on the ground and see how far. All right, let's see. Let's make a drawing, right? Let's say yellow is like Qatar's. Qatar's can really only go to like up to here with Enlight. Maybe over here with like a jump nair. Maybe over here with a jump dash nair, right? But generally speaking, from his position, it's really short range, right? It's like maybe up to here, maybe up to here, right? Or maybe just around them. While for you, since you're playing Scarlet, you have Hammer lands. But in this game, you chose to play Hammer for most of the part. But normally for Hammer, your range is going to be a lot more, right? It's going to be like this, right? Your Nair is really, really good, right? Your side air is really good as well. Even if your down air is pretty short, it's still significantly longer than how much Caspian can hit with his Katars, right? And same goes for even the grounded attacks, right? You'd think that Hammer and Light, the kicking move is only really short, but it's still just as far or farther than some Qatar moves and some Gauntlet moves, right? And the same goes for Stomp. Stomp is really long. It's deceivingly long, right? That's why a lot of people like using Stomp. There's also the side light of Hammer, right? It's also really good range. And I'm not just talking about range in terms of how much your character moves forward. I'm talking about in terms of hitbox, right? And I'll show you that later, right? So I like that you played really aggressive, using your weapon's advantages to its fullest against a character like Caspian, who again has guitars and gauntlets, right? For the most part, Hammer's pretty good against those, right? So now let's move on to the things that I think you could have improved on. Yeah. A lot of the moves that you miss in this VOD specifically is because you're looking at where people are, like the enemies, like for example this Caspian, right? You're looking where he is instead of aiming or looking at where he might go, right? So what do I mean by that, right? I'm saying that you're not taking into account your enemy's movement after, well, like while you're throwing out an attack, right? When you see someone throwing an attack at you, what's your main thought? It's either to attack back or to move away. And typically, You know, the biggest concept that will help you to improve is that when people whiff an attack, specifically a whiff, like a fast attack, you can read these notes over here, what a fast attack is and different stuff, right? But normally the quick attacks, right? If they whiff a quick attack, normally they're not going to fight back and they're going to try to run away from you, right? Things are different when people are like they haven't thrown out an attack yet. But for the most part, when people whiff a fast attack, like let's say a Qatar Nair, right? Or a Qatar side air or something related to that, like gauntlet snare as well, right? When they whiff that, they're gonna try to move away from you, right? And you'll see in the VOD that a lot of the moves that you missed were because you aimed at where they were and not where they were going. Okay, so let's actually watch the game now. Okay, yeah, you give him a little taunty. Okay, all right here. This is good. Like this is okay. These moves. That's fine. Okay, here's the first offender. Right. What is that sound? There we go. Sorry, it was an emote. Anyways, okay, here. Good. That was good. Okay, here, right? So here, you do a really good job of reading the Nair. Really good. Alright, you made him whiff. Now, you recognize that he's whiffed. Right? And in your head, in this moment, right? Because it's your brain works really fast when you're in game. So this looks really fast, right? So you're able to recognize that he whiffed. Okay, good, check. You recognized it and you force it out. Really, really well played. But the thing is, excuse me, do you see where you're throwing out your Sair? Like Sair here isn't a bad option to go for after a whiff, right? Even though he might spot dodge your Sair. It's not a bad option to go for. But the problem is that in this position, when you do your Sair, you're going to be like how the game works with Sair for hammer specifically. You'll be stuck in a short angle and you won't be able to move farther, right? Like your air control will be a lot weaker compared to when you're not throwing an attack. So for the most part, you'll be stuck in this position. And then your hitbox of your hammer is now stuck to around this range. Let's say this range, right? Really big range. So yes, right now Caspian is within that range. But remember, he has more movement than you. So now, because you threw out your Sair here, right? You throw out your Sair here instead of either going to the ground and then going for a side light or going for a stomp, right? Which is a lot easier to land. Look what ends up happening. Oh, how do you whiff that, right? See that? You see how he's still constantly moving forward, right? Really good, really good intention for you to punish this. But you need to understand that this guy also recognizes that he whiffed. It's not just you that recognizes he whiffed, right? You both recognize that he whiffs. Even your opponent does. So he's going to try to walk away from you. And for the most part, there's only... His momentum's already carrying here. So subconsciously, he'll keep moving in this direction. So that's exactly what he does. See that? So now, you might be wondering, so what do? Do I wait a little longer before going for a Sair? You could, right? You could fall like just a tiny bit farther and go for the Sair. Or up to you if you want to go for you do a fast fall into a dash stomp, right? Do dash stomp. And then you put the stomp and then you do your combo. Or when you land, if you think he's gonna jump, you could do a jump Sair on him. Up to you. That's your advantage, right? But you might be thinking, but those aren't guaranteed hits anymore, right? Because once he's here, he can already dodge. Yes, that's true. But again, you have to remember that in this very moment as well, after you after you make him whiff his Qatar Nair, you can't punish him anyways with a Sair here already, right? So now, even if the only chance you have is a 50-50 of either him staying here, right, and then dodging it with a spot dodge, right, and he dodges your stomp, right, or he jumps your stomp, or maybe he stays on the ground and you go for a Sair, nothing happens, or he does jump and he goes for a Sair, right? That's around a 50% chance of you hitting this guy, right? Now, would you rather take a 0% chance of hitting this guy when he's here, right? 0% chance. Or would you rather take a 50% chance of hitting him, right? It's not about guaranteeing your hits, right? It's about choosing the hits that have the highest chance of hitting. Right? That's just the nature of fighting games. You'll never. There are some attacks that can't get true punishes, right? And Qatar Nairs is one of them. And you're going to have to play with those rules, right? So again, keep that in mind. Think of where people are gonna go when you go for a punish, instead of where they currently are. Right? Obviously, if your opponent whiffs like a really, really slow sig, punish it. Right? Every time. But if you're not sure if you can get a punish with your range, right? Just go closer. Or at least try to throw an attack where you think they're gonna end up. So instead of throwing an attack over here, right? Let's go back. Okay. So instead of throwing an attack over here, right? Thinking he's going to be there, try to move and predict that he's going to either end up here or here, right? And you might think, oh, that's so much brain power. But honestly, you don't even need to like think about the jump thing I told you. You just need to think, okay, he's generally going to be in this area, right? So throw literally any move that hits here in this box instead of here, where he's not going to be hit anyways. Right? So let's keep moving. This is pretty good. Yeah. There are a lot of other like weird mistakes you do here, but let's talk more about you whiffing hits, right? Because that's the one you mentioned, and it is the most glaring issue. These are good. Okay, see? Okay, what's the difference here? Even though you do see him whiff, right? And this is a pretty good punish, right? And even if this guy's movement was a little better, he's over here, right? So the other places he's going to move towards, like away, again, the general rule, when people whiff a light attack or a fast attack, they're going to move away from you, right? So away from you is either above, you know, like towards this direction. He's going to be in this direction. He's going to be in this direction, right? He's going to be in this area, sorry, rather. This area. And he won't be here. So even if his position here doesn't move because he's a little bad, right? You do throw out an attack that hits these positions. Which is why even if he doesn't move at all, because, you know, you punish him really well, that's a really good start. Even if he timed his end light better, you would have been able to have a chance of hitting it. So that was good. Alright, stuff like this. Okay, another one that you end up doing, which I forgot to type out, is that you throw out attacks that don't have a chance of hitting at all. Okay? And how is that different from your scenario here, where this is something that, for the most part, won't land, right? Against better players, right? This might land because they're gonna have bad movement, right? They're not gonna move away from you, or they don't have the spot dodge, right? So it's not truly a hopeless air, which is why this air actually isn't like all too bad, right? But what makes this stomp horrendous, right? Look at this. Look how much distance there is between you and this Caspian. That's so much range, right? And you might be thinking, yeah, like if you do a dash into a stomp, that's gonna hit if he stands still, right? Again, not only is it a, well, I'll go back to this later, an attack that has a low chance of hitting. Sorry, I don't scratch that. Right? It's a move where this guy whiffs and he'll move away from you. Right? Look at this. Look at it again. Okay. Okay. Technically he whiffs here. Right? I don't know why he doesn't there, but he whiffs. So again, you both recognize he whiffs. Okay? So now your intent is to go towards him and hit you. Your intent is to go towards him and hit him, right? And he knows that too. He knows that you're going to go towards him and you will want to hit him. So what does he do? He'll move away, right? So in this scenario, you see how you were aiming for exactly where he was? In this position, he was over here, right? He's going to end up over here. And that's where you aim for. And you do hit that area. See the trumpet? Yeah. Right? But of course, this guy's going to move away if you move towards him. Because he knows he gets whiffed an attack. He needs to run away. Right? There are not many crazy people in this world that whiff an attack and then go for another attack, right? There are some strats where you do that, and they're pretty good in Diamond. But normally in this elo, when people whiff an attack, they'll run away. And that's exactly what he does. He doesn't even need to dash, right? So he sees that and it punishes you. See that? One more time. Don't punish where he is. Punish where he is going. He's going to move away from you. He's going to be in this general direction. Aim for that. Right? You could do a double dash, like you could do a double dash into... Sorry, you could do a dash into a dash jump Sair, right? If you think he's gonna jump. You could do a dash hold. So if you didn't know, when you hold the dash button, or you hold the direction you're moving after you tap dash, it's faster than if you spam dash, right? So you could do a dash hold to, surprise him with your movement, and then try to bait out other stuff, right? But again, stuff like this has a very, very low chance of hitting. Very low. Okay. There. Okay, this one is a bit of a funny one. Why I am not too mad about this is it does hint towards the second point where it is a move that doesn't have a chance of hitting at all. And I'll talk more about that later. Since he's so far and you're throwing out the kicks, which won't hit in this range. But I won't fault you for that if you think he's going to walk into you. So this is actually not that bad of a move because it hints back at this where you're trying to hit where he's going. So you think he's going to move towards here and not attack, so you go for an attack. So I'm not gonna be too mad about that one. That was good. A lot of these attacks are really good, honestly. I bet a lot of his attacks also are really good. Okay. Now stuff like this, like I get you're trying to go for the dash jump down air for hammer because it's a pretty good anti-ground attack, right? And it low-key like kicks up people who are one jump height. So that's an okay approach. I'm just going to assume you misinputted. Yeah, okay. Definitely a misinput. That's fine. Okay, here. Okay. You see him whiff again. It's the same thing again, right? Here we go again with our whiffing attacks. You see him whiff. You both recognize that he whiffed. Both of you do. Right? Not just you. Also he does. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna move away. See that? See that? 1 for 1. After he whiffs, he moves away. Right? So you see how he does the same mistake as you do? So after you whiff attack, what's he going to do? You see how you're in this position, he's in this, and he tries to hit you here. But because you both recognize, right? Remember, you both recognize that you whiff. So what are you gonna do? You're going to assume he's going to go for a punish. So you're going to get the hell out of there. And that's exactly what you do. You see how instantly he aims for you here, right? He had enough mechanics to aim for you properly, but he aimed at the wrong spot, right? You should have aimed for your position in this general direction, which should have been a lot better than aiming for you here. See? You see how he's committing the same mistakes as you are? That was a really good Sair. Very good. See? This one, he's a lot closer, right? Why? Even if in this scenario the Sair works, is because he will not be able to move as far away from you anymore. You timed your Sair really well. This isn't necessarily a punish. You just throw it out at a really good time. So that was a really good time. Really good time. Okay, yeah. You just tried to go for a read, that's fine. Oh, that was a really good read by you. Hope sad it didn't hit, but it's okay. Okay. That dash sidelet was okay. Okay. Okay, nice. Right. I really like your gimp here with Lance. Was pretty good. Okay. This is okay. right? Why? Like most people would ask, why would you share there? But again, why? Even though it looks pretty bad, I'm not going to completely blame you because you're trying to assume where he's moving, right? So it looks really bad, but it's because you think he's going to go back towards stage and then go for like a D-light or something. That's what I'm assuming, right? Or go back into stage and try to hit you. Or you think he's going to jump in this direction and you're going to stare, right? So that's not that bad of a stare in my opinion. Good punish. Okay, excellent. Okay. Classic. Well done. Okay, let's see what gets you killed here. Okay. Okay. So Caspian's side sig on gauntlets is one of those sigs that are a fast move, right? Not all fast, no, not all sigs are slow, right? Some sigs are really fast, and Caspian's side gauntlets is one of those. So now, again, you have to think to yourself, this move is hard to punish, right? I'm gonna forgive you for that. That is a logic check, right? Most people think if it's a sig, it's always punished, but that one's really hard to punish, especially in your position. If you wanted to punish this should have been a down air, right? Down air would have been a really good option here. But if you wanted to go for a Sair, right? Definitely the guaranteed punish here was down air. But if you did insist on going for a Sair, again, where's he gonna go? He's going to go away from you, right? He's not gonna stay in this position. So either he's going to move here or he's going to move here. He will not stay in this position. So any move that you target in these directions, right? In these boxes are fine, even if they whiff. But any move that you aim for in his position is already like a really bad one to go for. Unless, the enemy tends to stand still after whiffing, right? There are people that do that. But again, rule of thumb, the diamond players will take advantage of these concepts. And true enough, right, he moves away. Like, of course, he does think that you're going to land and he's going to try to hit you with a punish, right? But generally speaking, even if you didn't expect this, your expectation should be that he's going to move. Right? Okay, here's another thing, right? So, whiffs. Okay. Not only did you both, again, we both recognize he both whiffed. You spot dodged and he gauntlets downlighted. So not only is it harder for you to punish because you just came out of end lag from your dodge, but gauntlets downlight is really fast. Now, again, should you be aiming for where he currently is, or for at least any other spot where he's not? Because that's where he's gonna go, right? He's either gonna go up, he's gonna go to the right, he's gonna go top left, right? He can do a bunch of stuff. But there's one thing he's most likely not going to do. He's most likely not going to stand still. And what does he do? Right? He jumps. Right? So literally, if you aimed for anywhere outside of this circle, this trash bag over here, even if you whiff because you didn't aim for this, let's say you aimed for this position or this position or this position, right? That would, in terms of decision making, be a lot better than what you did here. Because he is not going to stand still. Right? Yeah, one more time. Where is it? Right? He's not going to stand still. Okay, here. This one is one of those moves I mentioned where there's just no hope of this happening. Right? Like, it's this second thing I told you where don't throw the attacks that don't have a chance of hitting at all. Like, do you see how far this guy is from you? Like, there's no way on earth that he gets hit by this. Even if he dashes, right? There's such a low chance that you hit him with that. Right? Because the dash only brings him, like, maybe up to here. And then you're expecting Hammer to, like, go all the way there. Like, that's not gonna happen, right? Not even that close. Like, the actual Hammer hitbox was only, like, up to here. Right? It's too far. It's too far. And that is something you're going to learn with experience, of course, right? You're still learning Hammer, you're still learning the game, and you're going to feel that out. But that's just something to point out. If the move isn't, like, if there's no hope of the move hitting, like, there's no chance at all, don't even go for it. And one dead giveaway is really, really long range. Like, even Greatsword might have a little bit of a hard time hitting this. Like, maybe if the Greatsword goes for, like, a dash downlight, Or maybe if bow goes for dash down as well, that's going to hit. But they're known for the really long range, right? So like guns, sidelight, right? But hammer does have a good medium range, but it's not as far as those those weapons. So know your range, right? So if a really far range, you're not gonna hit it. Yeah, and you get gamer down with the bomb. That's fine. All right. Yeah, I'm assuming you're forcing yourself to play hammer here to learn it. That's fine. Okay, here another thing. Whiffs. Right? Again, in this moment, what do you both recognize? You recognize that you both whiff. Right? So what does it mean? It means that he's going to assume you're going to try for a punish, which means he is going to move away. And you need to expect this. Look what happens. He moves away, right? So don't aim for where they are, aim for where they're gonna go. You see how you're aiming for this, right? Like, I'm going to assume you position it better, right? Like, I mean, I think you do. Like, you aim for him here. When he's like, after this move, he's going to go all the way here or all the way here. He's not going to be there anymore. Aim for anywhere other than where he currently is, right? Especially in this elo, aim for where he's going to go away. Towards you, you don't have to worry about it, right? But away from you. Aim for that. Right? He moves away. You see how your attack would have hit if you stood still? Because it hits the right spot. But he's already far gone, right? Again, another scenario here. Whiff. Well, what the hell are you doing, right? Right? It's really funny when you look back at it, but that's why VODs are good, right? Because in the moment, it's hard to notice these things. Right? But I do like that you're being aggressive because you're trying to hit him and take advantage of your longer range compared to gauntlets. It's always good. Again, you see this guy, he's doing the example of trying to throw out an attack that has no chance of hitting. If he wanted to hit that, he should have either gone for a dash down knight, but you would be able to dash away from that. You'll have time to move. Okay, that was just a mechanic swift by you. Nice try. Right, but again, right, you see how that's a really fast move. So what should be your instinct again? Okay, I saw a fast move, and I'm going to assume he's not going to be here. He is going to move in any other direction, but not stay in the same place. And that's exactly what he does, right? He expects you to go for the sidelight, and he dodges it. But he evades it by jumping, right? Alright, this is another one of those moves that are hopeless. You see how far he is here? Oh, look how far that range is. Right? That's such a far range. Like, there's no way your dash sidelight's gonna hit, right? But compare that to something like this. Let's look at something else. Yeah, you throw your hammer away. Where is it? I think it's farther. Where is it? No, it's somewhere here. Okay, there. A lot better. Okay. Okay. Compared to this range, where you do it from here, right? And there, right? It's a little short. That attack has hope. But this, again, it's an experience thing, right? You're going to learn this over time. This is hopeless. This will not hit. No, not that one. Where's it? That won't hit. Right? This will not hit. That's good. Yeah. Nice attacks. Let me look at something nearby. Okay, here. Another scenario of you. No, that's the same one. Okay. Here. He's really far, right? Again, you both whiff. What's he gonna do? Move away from you. Don't aim for where he is. Aim for where he's gonna end up, which is either like in these boxes. He's gonna move away from you. Right. Yeah. There's the whiff. Okay. Good strings. Good attacks. Use the range. Okay. This is fine. another range moment. But that was not a poorly timed Ser, because you're not using it as a punish, you're doing it as a counter attack. But if you want an explanation of what the differences are, I'm down to explain it. But for now, let's focus on your general mistakes. This one, I'm not declined. Like, I wouldn't really be mad at you for this. This is not that bad of a dare. Like, at least, at the very least, right? You're aiming for where he isn't. You're aiming off, because you're going to assume he's going to move here. Unless you misread the scenario and you missaw him as staying here. Like, I'm going to assume, if you did try to hit him, I'm going to assume because you think he's going to stay here, but, you know, I'll give you the benefit of a doubt. He moved away from you, though. See that? But yeah. Let's see how you clear up the game. I believe you kill him with a Grand Bomb. Yep, you do. Right? Yeah. Again, going back to what I said, I really like that you played aggressively. Right? You attack a lot. That's good, especially against Gauntlets and Qatar's players that spam attacks. Right? If you attack at the same time, since you have bigger hitboxes, you're going to hit them first. And the main things, right? Firstly, don't throw out attacks that don't have a chance of hitting at all. That's an experience thing. You'll get over time, right? Just know your ranges. And most importantly, a lot of the moves you whiffed were because you weren't expecting people to move away from you after they whiffed, right? You tried to go for a punish where people are, where your enemy was, instead of aiming for a spot where they might go. So, you know, try to implement those in your next games and tell me how they go. Right? Don't focus too much on other things. Try to do things one at a time. Right? If you want to focus on finding out your range first, go ahead and do that. Or if you want to focus on guessing where people are going to end up after whiffing an attack, do that first. Right? Tiny baby steps that are actionable. All right. I hope this helped you. And again, if you have any questions, you send me a DM. See ya.